it's time to turn things up. This pre-workout combination of Expedite and Aerobatine is the Fat Attack Stack from Snack. I usually take both about 15 to 20 minutes prior to my workout. It's the perfect time to get after it.
A few fights I want to get your expert breakdown on. Obviously, the first one, Manny versus Errol Spence. You know what? You fought both, so you have an interesting insight on this. Give me your thoughts, given your experience with both fighters.
Yeah, it's a great matchup. It's cool to see, Spence getting the chance, and it's just, man, I tip my hat to Pacquiao. I mean, he wants to fight the toughest and baddest dudes out there. He'll fight anybody. He's a warrior. That's just his mentality, and this is obvious in this fight as well. But it's one of those fights where, you got the younger dominant champion. You've got the old lion. When does age matter? When does age too much? It wasn't too much against Keith Thurman, another undefeated, young, hungry champion, which was incredible for Pacquiao to win the fight the way that he did. So there's always a chance. I think Pacquiao has a chance to beat anybody on any given night. He's a talent like we've never seen. But I think when I look at it from a scientific perspective, from a sweet science perspective, I lean towards Spence.
Maybe Manny's that rare guy that's able to fight Father Time, that's able to kind of back it off a little bit more than like the normal person would. If he comes in the shape that he did against Thurman, do you think he wins?
I think he can.
I think he can.
Yes, I think he can win. And I've been saying that ever as soon as the fight was announced. I was thinking before the fight was happening, before they talked about actually, it getting done. I was like, nah, not a good fight. Spence is too big, too young, too strong in this way. And then when the fight got made, I really started thinking, I'm like, shit, Pacquiao actually can win.
So what changed?
I just really was thinking about it. Thinking about them match up, seeing how, just seeing Pacquiao, the way he moves, what he does, certain aspects of his style. It's like, yeah, he can win. He's not flat out in that fight, but I think stylistically, even more so than just the age and the size, I think it's a very tough fight for Pacquiao. Very tough fight for Pacquiao.
When you look at the fight, I guess what's the toughest thing for both fighters?
Spence is going to really just to lock the crosshairs in on him, because Pacquiao's angles are so awkward. His movement is awkward. He's very good at cutting those angles, and Spence sometimes can be a little aggressive and fall over his front foot. He can be a little heavy on that front foot, especially when he's really getting offensive. And he's just got to be careful not to run into one of those left hands of Manny. Manny's left hand is one of the hardest punches I've ever been hit with. The guy, I mean, he's got bricks for hands. He's got very fast hands, and he's got that awkward angles. So he hits you with shots you don't see. So Spence has to be careful not to walk into any traps and get hit with those big shots like that. And when it comes to one-punch power, I think Manny hits harder, than Spence.
No way.
One-punch power, yeah. Speed is different.
Okay, for you guys watching, obviously Chris fought both guys, and people are going to be like, what, Chris? Errol's bigger than Manny. How does Manny hit harder than Spence?
Speed. Force production. That's it's a different thing. Errol hits very hard. Listen, all the guys at the top hit hard, but Errol's more of a combination puncher, break you down, bust you up. Manny's one punch. It's different. It's a different kind of punch, different kind of shot, and that comes down to speed, which is force production. But I think the body work, I think the combination punching, Spence's ability to close the distance, make rings small. Pacquiao's going to have to work so hard, and that is something where we might see the age, because he has to work so hard in that fight.
Yeah, that's a worry of mine for this fight. I don't think 3 months is enough time after a 2-year layoff to fight an Errol Spence who was active with Danny Garcia, even though some people said that he didn't look like the Spence, but he was close to the Spence before the accident.
I thought he looked great in that fight because of his opponent. No one's done that to Danny. No one has controlled Danny like that. No one's beaten Danny that way. Danny's his other losses are split decisions. Like super close fights. That wasn't. Spence was very much in control of that fight, and we bring up the pressure that Spence is going to put on. In the Thurman fight, there were times where Pacquiao was just walking forward and waiting through shots. He was like, he didn't have to work as hard because for whatever reason he didn't feel like Thurman could really hurt him, or he just felt like he could just do that. I don't think he can do that with Spence. He's going to have to be, sharp and agile the whole time.
Yeah, the other thing with Spence is that you mentioned he's going to probably make Manny work harder, but I think I saw a stat that he throws the most punches out of everyone in the welterweight division. And you have a guy, Manny, that comes forward. You got to think he's going to eat, statistically, he's going to eat a lot of punches to come forward.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, and that's the thing. The more offensive you are, the less defense you have. You know, so there's going to be opportunities for both men to get hit. You know, so I think it's a great fight.
Who wins? If you had to, make an official pick, and given your experience fighting both guys, who wins?
I'd go with Spence.
Spence. Yeah, but I know your heart says Manny, huh?
My heart says Manny. It's not just nostalgic. I just think he's one of those guys who can, on any given night, can show up and make it happen. But like I keep saying to everybody, but if I was going to bet, and I'm going to bet on Spence, unless the line's really big.
If Manny beats Errol, where do you think that ranks him in just the all-time great conversation?
He's up there, like literally all-time greats.
Literally. Like top 5?
Yeah.
Do you think it puts him past Floyd?
It's hard to go past the guy who beat you.
Yeah.
And who did it, convincingly, completely neutralized him. I don't think Floyd was able to, he's undefeated, he's perfect, and he's able to neutralize so many great champions. So, I know a lot of people don't like his style, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The guy got 3 judges to say he won 50 times, other than the knockouts. Yeah. But yeah, we're looking at all time.
Top 5 all time.
I mean, come on. Whose career has been longer, beating top guys? We're looking at decades worth of work. Yeah.
That'd be
wild to think about.
It would be a wild thing. Just even thinking about it, like, okay, he goes and he wins at 42. If he beats Spence, and then he goes on and becomes president of the Philippines, and you're just like,
yeah,
what the, like?
He's an alien.
Man, people would say like he's already achieved more than all of his contemporaries because of him being such a small guy moving up 8 weight classes. I had the discussion on live chat, and we brought on Steve Farhood, and Steve brought up your point, like, hey, it's kind of hard, but Floyd did beat him, and that's more testament to like, hey, look, Floyd beat him in his prime, or not his prime, but closer to his prime and relatively easy. And look at what this guy's doing past his prime, beating these 2 guys. It gives more credence to how good Floyd was. But on the other end, it's like, dude, this was a little junior flyweight wrecking all these guys, getting up to what he's doing and still doing it past his prime at 42. And people have made the argument too that should have more weight than anything anyone else has done.
Yeah. I mean, super flyweight knocked out Miguel Cotto, if you really think about it. Like,
yeah.
And that was I think that was one of his best victories.
Super flyweight broke Margarito's eye.
Yeah, Margarito was huge. And it's
super flyweight knocked out Ricky Hatton with a punch.
Yeah.
Super flyweight beat Morales, Barrera, Marquez, some of them, they went back and forth. But,
yeah, those were great fights, though.
It's nuts.
Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos of your favorite fighters over here on Fight Up TV, and give us a follow online as well at Fight Up TV on Twitter and on Instagram. We appreciate it, guys.